What's going on, y'all, and welcome back. In this video, I'll be showing off how to disassemble and clean, replace the CMOS battery, and reapply thermal paste to the processors of this PlayStation 3 Super Slim. I'm going to make this quick and to the point with 4 simple steps, so let's go ahead and get into it. And real quick, if you're going to follow along, be careful if doing this yourself. Take your time and make sure you have the proper tools. You'll need a Phillips number 1 and number 2, a T8 security Torx driver, which has 6 points and a hole in the middle, and new thermal paste along with a fresh CR2032 battery. So step 1 is we're going to be removing the top plastic cover, and this involves 3 plastic covers, 5 security Torx T8 screws, and 10 Phillips screws. Flip the console over to this right side as shown. Apply pressure downward to this plastic cover and push to the left. It can be a little bit difficult. Just apply pressure in different spots and keep trying to push to the left, and eventually it'll pop right off. Once that's off, we're going to take out the one blue screw that's holding in your HDD drive. Once the blue screw is out, just pull up on the little latch here and the HDD will slide right out. Once that's out, there are 3 T8 security screws to take out. Take those out. And then flip the console over to its back side. There are 4 Phillips screws here. 3 of them are hidden under the black rubber feet, while the last one is underneath the warranty sticker. Once those are out, flip back to the top side of the console, and we're now going to remove the 2 plastic covers on both the top and the bottom. The top one's super easy. Just pull on this little latch right here as shown, and then slide it to the left, and it comes right off. The bottom one is much more difficult. What you want to do is pop up the right side first, like I do here. Once it's loose like shown, you're going to want to push it to the left. It may not want to go to the left very easily. You may have to kind of run along the bottom of this plastic cover to pop off some of the clips down there before you can push to the left. It's pretty difficult and you're probably going to break some, but don't worry about it. It'll be able to latch in, no problem. Mine comes off really easy because I've done it before. Alright, so once that's out, there are 5 silver Phillips screws to take out that were underneath these 2 covers. Take those out. And then lastly, there are 2 more security T8 screws underneath the sliding cover where you would put a disc in at the optical drive. From there, just lift up on the top plastic cover and it'll come right off. And we're on to step 2. Alright, here in step 2, we're going to be removing the optical drive and the power supply, and then we're going to lift the motherboard out. This will take 4 ribbon cables, 1 power connector, and 9 Phillips screws. Okay, starting off with the optical drive here, there are 3 ribbon cables as I'm pointing out. We're going to have to remove all 3 of these. We're going to start with the bigger one here. You're going to want to pry up this little black tab at the bottom so that you can then grab the blue part and lift it right out. The other 2 just pull right out, that little one on the left, and then the one on the top, lift the optical drive with your hand so that you can slide it out. Put that aside. Now we're going to take out the power supply. There are 2 silver screws on either side of it. Take those out, and then there's 1 power connector that'll need to be pulled out afterwards. Now we're going to lift that power supply out of the board. It's kind of locked in there, so you're going to want to pry up on the left side like I did here, and it'll pop right out, and that's where it connects. And now the power connector and that ribbon cable that were connected to optical drive and the power supply, pull those off of the board. Then at the bottom right here, there's 1 little tiny ribbon cable that you're just going to want to slide out. All right, now we're going to take out the 5 black Phillips screws and then 2 silver Phillips screws that are holding the motherboard to the bottom plastic. 1, 2. Alright, once all 7 of those are out, just gently pry up around the board. Be careful not to get snagged on any ribbon cables. And now we're on to step 3. Okay, step 3, we're going to be undoing the motherboard sandwich. First up, right here next to the fan, there's a little connector that powers the fan. You're going to want to pull that out. And then at the top right, there are 2 little antenna pop-on connectors. They pop right off the board. Make sure you get those off. Now we're going to flip it over. On this side, we have 6 screws. There are 4 silver screws around the perimeter and then 2 black ones in the center. Go ahead and take all 6 of those off. And then this metal plate will come right off. Now the other side, we're going to have to pop this board out. So you're going to want to apply pressure at the corners. Be gentle. As you can see, mine kind of popped right out. Yours will probably take a little bit of time to get it undone. It's kind of like a glue that holds it together, and that's our motherboard. Now back to where the fan is at. If you want to take the fan off, there are 3 black screws. I only take 2 of them off, which allows you to lift up this black shroud. If you took off the 3rd one, which is directly below that fan, you'll be able to pull the fan off, but not really necessary. You can just blow the fan out without doing that. And that's it for number 3. Alright, so now on to the 4th and final step before reassembly. We're going to be changing the CMOS battery and reapplying thermal paste to the processors. So first up, the CMOS battery. It is in the corner of the motherboard as shown. You can use a multimeter to check the charge if you like, but just go ahead and change it either way, even if it has some juice, because you've already gone through all the work of getting down to the board. It uses a CR2032. Just pop it off and put a new one back in. I'd recommend getting a name brand like Duracell over those cheap Amazon ones for longer performance. If you don't change it, just know once it dies, you won't be able to access your digitally bought games without first connecting to the internet. And one day, if Sony cuts out the servers for the PS3, you won't be able to access your digital games anymore without first jailbreaking. So next up is the thermal paste. Using 90% or better rubbing alcohol, clean off the old paste from the processors. Then apply thermal paste however you wish. I'm going to show two different methods with the same result. First is the blob method, where you just apply one large dot to the center. As for that smaller GPU unit, you just need to worry about putting one small dot and that's it. Now here is the result from the blob method. Pretty good. I was a little off center, so coverage at the top there is kind of off, but otherwise it's just fine. Now I'm going to do the X method, and here is the result from that. As you can see, it makes a little difference, so don't overthink it. I think I prefer the X method, but I've done the blob before too. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure you put enough thermal paste to get good coverage across the top of that processor so that the heat can be dissipated. From here, just start to reassemble. Watch this video in reverse if needed. All right, and that's that. I hope you came here if you needed a little bit of help taking apart your PlayStation 3 Super Slim to do some of that preventative maintenance so you can keep on gaming for years to come. Hit that like and subscribe if you like this kind of content. I'm going to be doing some other PlayStation 3 models here soon, doing the same exact things of cleaning, replacing the battery, and changing out that thermal paste. So thanks for watching, stick around, and I'll see you next time.